This is the last part of our three-part series, Ask a Speech Therapist. In this video, Miss Diane is going to help answer the question, now that I have my student's device or visuals at home, how can I help them use them?
Hi everyone, my name is Diane Jervey. I'm one of the speech therapists at CSEP. What I want to talk to you about is to help answer the question, what do I do with the visuals or the communication device that came home with my child? We realize that many of you for the first time may be seeing visuals, and we're just here to help you figure out the best way that you can support your child at home. One of the things that you may have found in your packet is a page such as this. It's a core page, which has visuals for many of the most common words used in children's language development. We may have included something like this that has just common pictures that your child may be wanting to request at home. This is directly from one of my students' communication books. It's his foods that he likes, so that he can identify and touch what he wants for snack time. What I want to talk about is modeling language and the importance when you have visuals that a nonverbal child uses is that we need to model using the system, whether it's a visual communication book or a device that the child is currently using. We know that children learn language by hearing words spoken to them while experiencing their associated meaning, such as you're playing ball with your child, you say, go get the ball, throw the ball. They have the concrete object there, plus they're hearing you verbally saying it, and that's how children develop verbal language. The same holds true for our nonverbal users or students that are partially verbal. They learn to use their augmentative means of communication, which are visuals or a communication device. They only learn to use it if we model using the system with them. We know that one of the many common concerns of parents is that they want their children to be verbal, as each and every one of us do as well, and they're concerned that introducing the use of visuals or a device will stop their child from speaking. As I've told my parents, research has proven that is false, and that the use of augmentative communication only supports verbal language and oftentimes, or most of the time, enhances the child's ability to learn to speak verbally. Our goal is using modeling, or we like to call it aided language stimulation, actually does help to increase the verbal language, and it gives our children quickly a means to communicate. We know behaviors often associated with a child's struggle to communicate if they're not currently verbal, and that is our ultimate goal, is to make sure every child can give us or use their voice to express their wants and needs. Using the core page, just to give you a couple of examples, some of the words that we typically start with is want, go, like. And what I'm talking about when I say modeling language is this page is with you, preferably all the time, in every room of your house, such as the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, even the car. And when you're sitting with your child and they're eating something and it's obviously that they really, really like it, you touch the word like and say, oh, you must really like that. When we're touching the visuals, we're not communicating in complete sentences that are grammatically correct. We're just teaching the child that what's happening in their life is associated with the visual on the page. Another example is for possibly not. You can touch the not symbol when you're talking to your child and you're telling them no. You could be expressing no, not, you don't like. The whole idea is that you're teaching the child the meaning of that symbol, just like you're teaching the verbal language child the meaning of the word. Another example is, for example, you're getting ready to go somewhere, to go to the grocery store, go to grandma's house. You touch the word go and say, okay, honey, it's time to go now. Do you need to go to the bathroom? So you, not the child, is actually touching the visual when you're associating a meaning to it. Another example is look. You're sitting reading a book and the child's not paying attention. Why don't you look? Let's look at the book. We're going to watch the movie. Another example is child is eating and you hand them a bag of potato chips and they can't open it. There's an open visual up here. And you touch, not the child. You say, oh, you must need help opening. You use complete sentences, but when we're touching the photos, we're not making grammatically correct sentences. We're using the photos to model the words. For example, they want something. The child is hungry, he's crying. What do you want? You must want dinner, snack. The other thing that possibly came home is an actual communication electronic device. This is an iPad. Let me find, this has Proloquo app on it, which is one of the most common apps that we use. Maybe you have this, maybe you're not familiar, you don't know how to use it, or maybe you're seeing it for the first time. I'll show you a few examples of modeling on the device. When I sit with a child, we and staff are modeling all day long. I'm not suggesting that you have to model every word that you say, but I would encourage maybe a few times a day that when you're watching a movie, when you're reading a book, or specifically lunch and mealtime seem to be a very important time, and it's a highly rewarding time to model. Again, you're doing the modeling, you're not enforcing the child to point to the pictures. There's a category up here for drinks. You know, maybe you've presented the child with a couple of options, either water or apple juice, and he grabs for the water. And you can say, oh,
I want water.
You model the sentence. It doesn't have to be the whole sentence. We model at the level that the child is. If you have a child that can already touch water, then we model one step further. We say, I want water. Just like we do with verbal language speaking children, you always model and expand one step further than where the child currently is. Another example, for example,
I need help.
Maybe your child needs help. You can model, I need help. I need to go to the bathroom.
I need to use the bathroom.
So when you take your child to the bathroom, you can touch the visual.
I need help. I need to use the bathroom.
And eventually, when we're modeling like this, the child himself learns to pick up the device and use it in the appropriate setting. I've had students that we have modeled language for 1 month, 2 months, possibly a year, thinking that the child's not paying attention to the page. And out of the blue, the child will either touch the visual and he'll use it appropriately. We've had students that we didn't think were paying attention, and one day the child was sick and he said, I feel sick, I need a tissue. So your modeling is key, and that's what I'm really here to stress for you, is that if you have visuals, back to this one with the foods, you're giving the child a donut, you touch the donut and say, oh, it's about time to eat your donut. We're going to have a Pop-Tart for breakfast. We know that children learn to use visuals and devices only if the devices are used with them. And I think that's really the missing piece, that oftentimes parents will get a device and the child's not learning it, and it really boils down to we have to use the device with them. I would encourage you to search on YouTube, aided language stimulation. Actually, the very first video that pops up is excellent. I show it to all of our staff, and it really enforces the meaning of what I'm trying to say, is that we have to model language using the visuals in order for the child to learn to use the visuals with us. Please reach out. In closing, we know some of you, this is a difficult time. Maybe there's visuals that you need from us. Each of us are here to help you. We would love to make visuals. Maybe you have a device that needs some reprogramming, or a new device and you don't know how to program it. we're here to help, and please let us know if there's anything we can do. Thank you.